Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Little Creek Bee Ranch, and this is August. We're going to be pulling in some honey today. We have a total of 17 hives out on the property. We're going to do 4 of them today, about 12 boxes. Beekeeper will take a little smoker with some smoking fuel and smoke the porch of the beehive, and it will mask any of the fear pheromone that the guard bees give off, and it will instinctively cause the bees to go to suck up honey, and it will take their abdomens and swell their abdomens so they can't bend and try to sting. And we'll just use a little bit of smoke to do that, and then we can start taking the boxes off the top and blow the bees out of the boxes. The process of smoking or blowing is not harmful to the bees. We have so many boxes to get in, and I think there's 12 boxes we've got to bring in. Blowing them out is the quickest, most efficient way to get them out. Bees don't like being brushed, so we're not going to try to brush them off the frames. We're going to take the top box after we've smoked the hive, take the top box and set it right on end. And then the top of the hive becomes our desktop, and we're just going to blow those bees right out of between the frames and turn it around about 2 times and blow them out between the frames, and they'll float right outside the front of the hive, and they'll want to go back right in front of their front porch. They're used to the wind already blowing them back and forth. So the principle is they're already used to the wind, so we're going to use strong wind to blow them right out of the house. And they just think a strong wind came and blew them out of the house, and they'll go right back in the front porch, and we'll walk away with that honey super and load it in the truck. And then do the next one, because some of them have 3 or 4 boxes stacked on top. When we stack the boxes inside the honey hut, we'll crisscross stack them to let the bees go ahead and come on out. They'll suck up a little bit of honey, and their instinct is to go on home. But they can't get out. They'll go to the windows to light, like bugs will go to light, and we'll suck them up from the windows. When we take the honey box off the stack, we'll put the fume board on top of it, and we use a smell that smells more like almond extract, and spray on the inside of the fume board and kind of rock that box a little bit, and any remaining bees will just go right to the floor. They're a little confused and dazed. They're okay, we don't hurt them. And move that box and shut the box up from the bees in the honey hut and suck up any remaining bees. So we're kind of hand working the bees out of the boxes, because we don't want a bunch of bees flying around inside the honey hut while we're extracting and getting honey out. And then we'll begin our process of extracting. We'll take 1 frame at a time and use a hot knife and cut off the cappings of both sides, and set the frame inside the extractor, and we try to spin 16 frames at a time. Our honey here is not heated or pasteurized. We don't use chemicals. We take the honey and spin it out in a centrifuge and an extractor. It'll hit the walls of the extractor and flow down outside of the barrel and go through 3 natural filters. It'll gravity feed through 3 filters into the big 5-gallon bucket, and from there we'll jar it up 1 jar at a time, and that's where you see your honey on the farmer's market table. I'd like to address some frequently asked questions that I have at the farmer's market table. People are pretty aware of the bee situation nationally. They ask me a lot of times, how are your bees doing, or what kind of chemicals do you use, or do you use chemicals, or how do you harvest your honey? We take some extra efforts here to make sure that we're natural in our hives, and we use natural essential oils. We don't use toxic, harsh chemicals to manage the health of the bees. People are very sensitive to the bees. They see a lot of the issues of the bees on TV and specials and reports and whatnot. So that you know, the small beekeepers like myself that run 15 or 17 hives, we keep our hives stationary. We don't move them around a lot. That stresses the bees, and we're able to keep the hives natural and clean, that we don't have to worry about harsh chemicals. It's better for the bees, it's better for the honey, it'll taste a lot better, and people are sensitive and are concerned about that. So we go to the extra efforts that we don't use harsh chemicals inside the hives to keep the bees healthy. And we have some bee issues in the nation. We can't be losing thousands and thousands of colonies of bees. It's going to impact the way we build the food supply and the vegetables and whatnot. So here locally, a local place like here, We have about 17 or 18 colonies. We've just gone to the extra efforts to keep the ventilation going through the hive. The bees stay healthier. We use essential natural oils to keep the bees healthy, and we don't have near the problems that a lot of the other big commercial beekeepers have. I also like to mention that farmers markets are real popular places for beekeepers to market their honey and sell their honey. Farmers markets typically open early in spring, April time, but the beekeeper doesn't have a lot of honey at that time. He's got to let the bees build up the honey, so he won't hit the farmers market until probably mid-late July or early August. So we've just been recently to farmers market to sell some honey mid-August, and we'll set the farmers market about every weekend from mid-August all the way to Halloween time, end of Halloween, and we'll market a lot of honey, just sitting at the table, visiting with people, answering questions and answering their questions about the bees and honey. And the people are very curious about how the bees are managed and how healthy is the honey that we're marketing and how we do that.